The United States is a huge foreign direct investor in Ireland. It's our #1 partnership. You here in California account for 40% of that investment in Ireland. So we've a vested interest in that relationship, and a two-way street. There are in the United States now 100,000 jobs here in the United States which are funded by Irish companies. We're in all 50 states. A lion's share coming to California because of the nature of both our economies. So it's a symbiotic relationship, if I can put it like that.
Over the 30 years I've lived here in the States, I've seen a change in the type of people that are emigrating here from Ireland. So we see now very educated people come to the US into the tech sector, or working in venture capitalists, or attending Berkeley or Stanford, and they're contributing in a way that was definitely different to the way when I first came here, and historically different also.
There's a spirit of entrepreneurship. There's a spirit of, again, saving the planet with new technologies, and proximity to the water being something we have in common, and have the entrepreneurship and determination to exploit. And so there are many connections, and therefore many people who've gone to Ireland to work from here.
A lot of the young Irish people that came back there in the early 90s were, coming for construction jobs, bartending jobs, the hospitality industry. Today it's very different. The young people who are coming are primarily highly educated and coming to work in tech, biotech, and sort of the supporting industries. So the immigration is still happening. There's still a very vibrant Irish culture here, but it's a very different dynamic than it was 30 years ago.
I was very lucky to get to attend Stanford University. Driving down University Avenue, and there's palm trees. So I think I'm in like an American movie. I'm like, oh my God, they have palm trees. I think the second thing that really struck me is every morning I'd open up my curtains and there's just blue sky. I'm like, there's never a cloud in this place. And then I think the third thing was actually the sheer optimism of Americans. Always, still to this day, really astounds me. My parents were next door before it existed. And so they were the community, right? If you were sick, you came to get my mom. She was the local midwife. So if you're having a baby, she was very, very necessary. If you were short of some money, my parents were who you would come talk to. My dad would often get you a job. Today, to get to run now a service that serves 81 million neighbors across 11 countries and still growing, right? Our goal is to be global. To me, it's that, how do I take what I learned around the kitchen table in Northern Ireland into this global internet company at scale?
Ireland and California have a very strong economic relationship. We have over 200,000 people in Ireland employed by US companies. The other way around, we have Irish companies coming to the US all the time. In increasing numbers. There are over 100,000 people in the US employed by Irish companies here. So that relationship is strong, it's strengthening, it's built on trust, it's built on delivery, and it's built on people. As the workplace is disrupted by artificial intelligence, as it's disrupted by robotics, automation, we hope to see that continue, and we expect to see that continue with the US.
Ireland is an even more attractive landing place for U.S. investors, particularly California investors, as they seek to build out their business presence throughout the EU, which is a market of 400 million people. As a result of that economic flow, that cements, if you will, the family ties, the blood ties, the relationship ties, and the traditional ties that San Francisco has always had with Ireland.
I think back to all the people that came before us. Very strong work ethic. A lot of them came from pastoral, agricultural backgrounds, so everyone was kind of good with their hands. And of course, nowadays tend to be good with their heads too. A lot of the workforce that is coming in and the newly arrived immigrants, are very well educated, coming from Ireland and helping to contribute to the economy, not only just the Bay Area, but statewide.
We talk a lot about tech, but the Irish immigration that we've seen here in San Francisco over the last 20 years hasn't only been in the tech area. We've seen Irish immigration, particularly in the construction area. Many of the buildings that you see behind me historically have been built by Irish contractors. That continues to this day.
I got a job as an immigrant labourer from a guy from County Roscommon called Pat Mannion, and he gave us a nail bag and he says, okay, we're going to make carpenters out of you guys. And then a couple of years later I started buying houses. You know, that time you could buy houses for 20, 30,000, and then we moved on to new construction. And we started building a lot of 3-unit and 4-unit buildings, and then we moved on to bigger stuff up to, you know, all the way up to 300-unit buildings, big projects. And back in 91, I think, then I got into the general engineering business, where we started doing all the mass excavation and shoring for the high-rise buildings downtown San Francisco. You know, we worked for all the big players in San Francisco.
Well, it's the land of opportunity in America, and in California, I think that, you know, it has given us the opportunity that we didn't have in Ireland.
We have an ambition together for a very 21st century relationship, if I can say that. You are always at the cutting edge of what's happening in international economics, and particularly in the context of technology. We share something that young person coming to California embodies for me, that President Biden described, and it's a nostalgia for the future.
I think the next decade is going to be a golden age for the California-Irish connection.
We're rooted together in ancestry and history, but I think our values are so firmly shared and our perspectives are comfortable with each other that having that young entrepreneur arrive here in a way brings all that relationship into view and tells us that even in a 21st century where we hear talk of an AI economy that none of us can imagine, that we have enough in our deeply embedded relationship to carry us forward to the next phase.
California's Team Ireland includes not only diplomatic missions, but also the presence of key state agencies, such as IDA Ireland, Tourism Ireland, Enterprise Ireland, Screen Ireland, Culture Ireland, and Board Bia, the Irish Food Board.